Have you ever come across a photo of an apartment on Pinterest or Instagram or whatnot, and the first thing you thought was, oh, that looks so cozy? And your heart flutters a little and it's just a feel-good feeling? Well, you can pretty easily achieve that dreamy, comfy, cozy decor vibe in your apartment in a way that's even deeper than just simply being pretty. I've created a lot of videos with like hygge and cozy decor tips, and I definitely recommend you check any of those out. But in this video, I'm gonna really zero in on a very particular facet of my approach to cozy styling. So here it is. When decorating, think about addressing all 5 of your senses, not just sight, all 5 of them. True coziness is experienced through all of the senses. And by addressing each of the 5 senses as you decorate, that's how you can create a holistically cozy environment in your space. One that doesn't just look pretty, but feels good through and through. So I'm gonna go through each of the senses and explain exactly how you can apply them so that you can create an apartment that feels like your true cozy home, not just a pretty space. And if you're new here, my name is Steffi, and on this channel, I give small apartment styling tips and cozy living inspiration. So first, let's talk about the sense of touch. This one's pretty easy to apply to cozy decor. If you want a space to feel cozy, then it only makes sense to include lots of nice, soft, lush, cozy fabrics. And although this might seem like a given, like sure, of course you want soft things in your apartment, but it actually is a very commonly overlooked thing when shopping. I am guilty of this mistake. I am guilty of buying things that maybe looked really good, but in terms of the sense of touch, they were disappointing. So for example, the couch that I've had ever since I first moved into my last apartment, my studio apartment, my couch from West Elm, even though I am overall very happy with this couch, I would recommend it to anyone. The one thing that has always bothered me about it is the texture of the couch is actually quite rough. It's this kind of rough sort of tweed-y fabric, and as someone who pretty much never wears pants in the apartment, it actually is very irritating on my bare legs. So if you want a dream cozy apartment, really think about the fabrics that you're purchasing and how it's gonna feel to interact with them every single day. Also, if you're familiar with my videos, you know I'm a big proponent of layering tons and tons of decorative pillows. Now, as far as looks goes, I love tons and tons of pillows, but think about actually laying on those pillows, you know? For example, this pillow, that gray one in the center, it's pretty much like hugging a porcupine. It is not a cozy pillow. Now, I like having it there. It's like the age-old choice of looks versus feels. And in this case, I'm choosing looks. I just like that pillow there. But these are just the things to consider. Even right down to the fabric you choose for your outfits that you wear around the apartment. You are an important piece of your apartment. And so it stands to reason that the clothes that you put on as you exist in this apartment are a perfect opportunity to create a sense of coziness as well as decor. For me, it's baggy band tees. That's my kind of go-to cozy, makes me feel happy and cute kind of look. Again, you are the most important part of your space. So adorn yourself in a way that makes you feel good. You are just as deserving as being decorated as your apartment is. So when it comes to the sense of touch, what I'm saying is to really don't underestimate the power of touch when it comes to creating a cozy atmosphere. Now let's talk about the sense of smell. Smell plays a huge role in how cozy a space feels. This is where you can incorporate scented candles, room sprays, even a perfume. If you spray yourself with a scent that you love, then you're walking around with that scent. And like I said, you are the most important part of your space. So you can smell good as well as a scented candle. So think about ways you can incorporate your favorite scents into your space. Go shopping for candles, find a good room spray. I personally love Diptyque's room sprays, especially their orange blossom scent and their bay scent. These are pretty much, in my opinion, the top of the line room sprays, this particular brand. It feels so luxurious, and when I spray it like on my sheets before I go to bed, for example, it just immediately feels amazing and cozy. And in addition to candles and reed diffusers, you can get fresh flowers, you can get dried flowers. Kobe recently for my birthday got me a bundle of dried lavender, and it smells beautiful. I've also heard of people hanging eucalyptus in their showers, and so when the steam is formed in the shower, it like releases the scent of the eucalyptus and makes your shower experience just incredible. Also, if you're a fan of baking, which I admittedly am not, but Kobe is, and he often makes this really good like cinnamon banana bread, and when he makes it, it fills the apartment with this wonderful, like wholesome, fresh baked smell. And also, when it comes to the sense of smell, they say that your sense of smell is the strongest sense in correlation to memory. And when you're spending time in your apartment every day, you're creating memories for yourself. You are creating a tapestry of events that you're gonna look back on in the future. And one of the things that will be very strongly tied to those memories is going to be those scents that you used at that time. So basically what I'm saying is just be very aware of how much impact your sense of smell can have on the cozy experience of your apartment. Now let's talk about your sense of hearing. So imagine yourself curled up on your couch in your apartment, and you're surrounded by soft fabrics, and you have a scented candle lit, and then you also have like some really chill, relaxing lo-fi music playing. That relaxing music is such an important piece to the cozy puzzle. And I think this is actually commonly overlooked, the role that music and sound can play in the experience of your apartment. So when you're cozied up in your apartment, really think about what music can I put on, or even nature sounds, ambient sounds, but really think about how you can sonically cozy up your space. I'll link to some of my favorite relaxing music that I personally love to listen to in the description below, if you're at all curious about what fills the atmosphere of my apartment. Or if you're just not really sure where to start in terms of finding some really nice, relaxing music that won't steal too much of your focus if you work at home. I got you covered. Take a look in the description. I have some really, really good music that's perfect for creating a cozy, relaxing atmosphere in your space. Now let's talk about your sense of taste. This one might be the most abstract in relation to creating a cozy atmosphere in your space because it's kind of a one and done experience. Like, sadly, eating a wonderful meal only takes like 20 minutes or so. I personally wish I was in a perpetual state of eating a wonderful meal at all times, but that's not how it works. But nonetheless, let's talk about how taste can inform the coziness of your space. So of course, you always want to be eating well in your apartment, like having yummy snacks always stocked in the kitchen, yummy drinks. But in terms of using taste to help you create that cozy atmosphere in your space, you can think about the marriage of the sense of taste to the sense of sight. So what I mean is, think about how you can visually heighten your experience of eating and drinking. For example, drinking your coffee out of a cute mug that you love, where every time you look at it, you just feel cozy and happy. I personally drink out of this thermos every day just because I hate when my coffee gets cold and this keeps it warm. Otherwise, I would drink out of a really cute mug, but I'd say this is a pretty cute thermos. I care about these little things, you know? And so it's these little details that enhance the act of drinking coffee in a way that is also aesthetically pleasing and makes you feel extra cozy. Same thing goes for what I drink my water out of. I just enjoy drinking out of a pretty water vessel. And clearly I really have a thing for the marble pattern. You can also choose plates that are visually appealing to you, like our blue robin's egg plates. I just enjoy eating off of those. They're pretty. You can also think about your table presentation if you have a table. A lot of us small apartment dwellers do not have space for a table, myself included. But if you are lucky enough to have a table, then think about your tablescape. How can you decorate your table so that when you're sitting down to eat, it's a visually beautiful experience as well as a delicious experience? So basically what I'm saying is when it comes to creating that dreamy, cozy experience in your apartment, think about not only what you eat, but how you eat it. What do you drink from? What do you eat off of? And how can you make those things aesthetically pleasing and also connecting to your personal style? And last, but of course not least, there is our sense of sight. Now, I'm not gonna really go too in depth in this one because sight is what we generally think of when decorating. And at this point, I have like 90 videos that address the obvious sight aspect of decorating. But in the context of this specific video in regards to sight, I would like you to just shift your mindset a little bit when it comes to the visual nature of decorating. I personally like to think of cozy decorating from a fully human place, not just a purely materialistic place. Like, it's not just about what we buy for our apartments. Like, that's a big part of it, but it's not all of it. I guess just keep in mind that decorating, even though it's a very visual thing, it can actually be deeper than that. And I would argue that the most visually beautiful spaces actively have the other senses in mind, which adds to the beauty. You may not visually see it, but you can feel it on some level. That's when a space has soul. So that's how I like to think about creating a cozy space. Engaging all of the senses, not just sight, creating an entire holistic cozy experience in your apartment so that ultimately it feels like your home, not just a space that you're renting. Just because you rent your space doesn't mean you can't own your style. Let me know in the comments below which of the 5 senses, other than sight, because again, that's kind of a given, which of the other 4 senses do you particularly like to engage in your apartment? And how do you engage them? What kind of scented candles are you buying? What kind of food are you eating? And in what vessels are you eating it? What kind of music do you like to listen to? What kinds of fabrics do you like to surround yourself with? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, your apartment is destined to be pretty and cozy, and you are pretty powerful.